What is up, guys? We are here with the fourth shelf of my action movies. We're starting off with Asian Connection with Steven Seagal. This was during a year where he had, like, I want to say 8 or 9 movies come out, so it was definitely quantity over quality. And this movie was probably the worst one he had come out that year. You know, a drug dealer gets money stolen from him, which is played by Steven Seagal. He's the drug dealer. And this guy and his girlfriend steal money from him. Steven Seagal catches up to them at the end of the movie, only to just let him go. Because that makes a good action movie. Yeah, not really worth a watch. You know, I was surprised at the people that were in this movie and how bad it really was. But I'm a big Steven Seagal fan, so I got to have all of his movies. Then we have Steven Seagal and Rob Van Dam, not Jean-Claude Van Damme, in Sniper Special Ops. Still not great. This was the same year that Asian Connection came out. Better than Asian Connection by a lot, that's for sure. So, I mean, if you're a Steven Seagal fan, you might like this movie. Then we have The Perfect Weapon. This one was his, came out that same year as well. This one was one of his better movies, in my opinion, of that year. Worth checking out for sure. He plays the bad guy in this movie. He's not the good guy. So, I mean, worth checking out for sure. If you're a fan of old school action movies. Then we have War Games with Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy. I thought this movie was okay. It wasn't, like, you know, the best movie I've ever seen. People say that this was a classic. I only thought it was average, but, you know, it wasn't bad. So, I mean, it is what it is. Then we have Donnie Brasco. This one was okay. One of Johnny Depp's better movies, in my opinion. Al Pacino did great, like usual. This was kind of Al Pacino in his prime. So, I mean, Johnny Depp did okay. He carried his end. You know, solid movie for someone who wants to watch a big Al Pacino or Johnny Depp fan. Then we've got Gettysburg. This was a TNT original movie or miniseries, I should say. They split it into 2 parts because of how long it was. It's 254 minutes. It is long. But it's a solid watch. I mean, if you're a fan of, like, Revolutionary War or Civil War movies and you haven't seen this one, it's worth checking out for sure. Then we have Gods and Generals. This one was pretty good too. I believe this was a prequel to the Gettysburg movies. They couldn't get all of the actors back, so they did replace some of them. You know, Jeff Daniels, I think, was playing a different character. Stephen Lang was playing a different character. Martin Sheen didn't come back as Robert E. Lee, so Robert Duvall took over. You know, it is what it is, but it was a pretty solid watch, and this one was 219 minutes. Then we have The Jewel of the Nile with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. This was a solid, fun movie. Fun action-adventure kind of movie in the vein of National Treasure and Indiana Jones. So definitely worth checking out. I have not seen Romancing the Stone, nor do I own it yet. So it'll be interesting to find and watch that one. Leave comments down below if Romancing the Stone is better than The Jewel of the Nile. Then we have Presumed Innocent. This was a good movie. I love the twists in this movie and how it ended. 100% worth watching if you're a fan of psychological thrillers that leave you guessing till the very end. This is the movie for you right here. Just like Frantic with him in it as well. Then we have Sea of Love with Al Pacino. This movie was okay. You know, I kind of got this at a Goodwill for cheap. And I was like, oh, it's Al Pacino. Should be a solid watch. There's, you know, young John Goodman's in this movie as well. it's worth watching at least once. You know, it's not his best movie, but it's definitely not his worst either. Then we have The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer. The action scenes in this movie were great. Gore Verbinski directed this one just like he did the original 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so it definitely had that big movie feel. Unfortunately, the story wasn't that fantastic in my opinion, so I only think this movie's average at best. Definitely nowhere near as good as Pirates of the Caribbean. Then we have The Client with Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. You know, this movie was not as good as I thought it was going to be. It was kind of slow moving, but still a very solid watch if you're a fan of these type of movies. You know, I love the actors in this movie, and I did like The Firm and The Pelican Brief, so I was like, I gotta watch this one too. And I wouldn't say this one is as good as those ones, but it's still a really solid watch. Then we have Casualties of War with Sean Penn and Michael Douglas. Or no, not Michael Douglas. Michael J. Fox, my bad. Brian De Palma movie, which interested me as well as the cast. And this was a pretty messed up movie. You know, kind of showing how harsh the Vietnam War was. Probably sides of the war you don't want to see. But probably very realistic in its portrayal, unfortunately. Then we have The Losers. This came out the same year as the A-Team and the Expendables, and they're all kind of in the same vein. I guess this one was based off of a comic book from DC, which I did not know. But yeah, you got Chris Evans in here. You know, great cast. Great young cast. I mean, all 3 of these movies, you know, the A-Team, The Losers, and the Expendables were all solid watches, but the Expendables was by far the best one because of the genre, I guess you can say, and who was in it. Then you have Backdraft, which is a classic movie, especially with the filming of fire and all that stuff. Great cast, great story. You know, I wouldn't say it's like any of these people's best movies. Would I consider it a classic? Maybe not. But solid watch. I enjoyed it. It looked great, especially considering when it was filmed, too. Then we have High Crimes with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman. I really enjoyed this movie. This is one of those political thriller, murder, mystery type of government conspiracy kind of things. You know, this is definitely worth a watch. 100%. Then we have The Rainmaker from the same person who made, you know, The Client. And Francis Ford Coppola directed this, and a great cast, which made me very interested in this. I only thought this was average, not as good as I thought it was going to be. Because, I mean, I'd seen the trailers to this movie and had some high hopes for it, and it kind of let me down a little bit. But it's still a good movie. Then we have the Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. You know, it's the last of the made Chronicles of Narnia movies. And it was okay. You know, these are more for children. It wasn't like in the, you know, I thought this was going to be more like, you know, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. This is even more for kids than Harry Potter was, in my opinion. But still a solid watch. Then you have Vehicle 19 with Paul Walker. You know, I'm a big Paul Walker fan, and was getting all of his movies after he, you know, beyond Fast and Furious. Like him as an actor. This was kind of a cheap movie, though. Not the best. You know, I wouldn't go out of my way to see this one. But, you know, if you're a big Paul Walker fan and haven't seen it before, definitely check it out. Why not? I just wouldn't pay an arm and a leg for it. Then we have Rounders with Matt Damon and Edward Norton. This one was good. I really enjoy this movie. It's a good gambling kind of thriller movie with an amazing cast. I mean, this is worth checking out. This was better than The Rainmaker by a lot. Then we have Pulp Fiction by Quentin Tarantino. Amazing cast, obviously. Oh, people consider this to be a classic. I think it's okay. I'm not the biggest Quentin Tarantino fan, I'll be honest with you. But out of all of his movies, at least his older movies, this is probably my favorite. But yeah, shame on me for not being the big Quentin Tarantino fan. Then we have No Mercy with Richard Gere and Kim Basinger. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It was really well done, kind of old school action at its best. The final fight scene in the hotel, with all the guns and everything like that was awesome. Richard Gere showed that he could do action as well as drama, so definitely worth watching. Then we have Ghost Rider, The Spirit of Vengeance. Nicolas Cage and his B-movie stuff. This was in the theater. This was better. Well, I shouldn't say it was better than the original. The tone of this movie was better than the original. I did like the tone that Neville, Dean, and Taylor brought to this. It was dark and violent. It wasn't like kind of kiddie-ish like the first one was. Unfortunately, it felt small because of some of their quick cuts and things of that nature, which kind of sucks for a superhero movie. But all in all, I would still say this is better than the first one. And lastly on this shelf, we have Air America with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. Fun watch. Not the movie I thought it was going to be, but still a very fun watch. Amazing cast. Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. bounce off each other extremely well. Worth watching, like I said, for sure, if you like old school movies. But that will do it for this shelf. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Your support is much appreciated. I am also over on Letterboxd, which is, the link is over in the profile section of this channel. Otherwise, until next time, guys.